Now, in the last session, we stopped with the creation of these three new variables. This is called recency, this is called frequency, and this is called monetary. In fact, we could do a quick column rename and rename these columns as recency, frequency, and monetary. So we connect the output from group by to the column rename node, and we go to configure, and this we'll click on the checkbox which will allow it to now change it. It becomes editable once you checkbox here, and we type recency, then count, we click on this becomes editable, we change it to frequency, we click on this becomes editable, and we change it to monetary and save the node. We execute it and we'll see that we've got this rename table of recency, frequency, and monetary. This one shows that customer called a bike store has shopped in as recent as the 52nd week, which is the month of December, and he's purchased 20 times a year, and he has $169,507 worth of spent. Now, why are we building a recency, frequency, monetary segmentation at a customer level? RFM segmentation is an index of the loyalty of customers. So in case we want to carry out any campaigns, give the most valuable offers to the customers, we will select the customers which are the highest in the segmentation schema that we built, which is called the recency, frequency segmentation. Now, how do we bucket these customers after having created these three variables? We'll create three buckets each for recency, frequency, and monetary. The three buckets will be low recency, medium recency, high recency, low frequency, medium frequency, high frequency, and low monetary amount, medium monetary amount, and high monetary amount. So technically speaking, we can have 3 cross 3 cross 3, which is 3 into 3 equal to 9 into 3 equal to 27 segments at most. But we will see when we statistically bucket these using quartiles, then it may so happen, given the distribution of the data, only 2 segments may get created for one particular variable. Now, how do we bucket these segments statistically? We type in auto in the node repository, and there's a node called auto binner, which will enable us to make these buckets on a statistical basis. Now, if we go and click on configure on auto binner, these are the 3 variables which it has chosen automatically for consideration of creation of the bins. Now, we don't want to create fixed number of bins, but we will create bins statistically on the basis of quantiles. Here we want to create only 3 bins. So 0.5 to 2.5 is Q1 or quartile 1, 0.25 to 0.5 is Q2 or quartile 2, 0.5 to 0.75 is Q3 or quartile 3, and 0.75 to 0.21 is quartile 4. Now, instead of quartiles, what we'll do is we'll create only 3 buckets, and we'll remove the middle one. 0.5 stands for the median. So we remove this so that only 3 buckets will be created, all data coming between 0.0 to 0.25, 0.25 to 0.75, and 0.75 to 1. We will also keep the default numbering, which is bin 1, bin 2, bin 3. Let's execute this node, and we'll see that there's a new set of columns which are created corresponding to this. So we have a recency binned column, a frequency binned column, and a monetary binned column. Now let's sort this by descending order, the recency binned column, and we find that it has created only 2 bins, bin 2 and bin 1, because there might have been no data which would have been there for creation of bin 3. Now we can either look at it as high and medium or low and medium. So let's look at the second column. This has created the entire gamut of columns. Frequency has both bin 3, bin 2 and bin 1, and so does monetary. Now after we've created the bins, the next step is to combine the columns. So there's a node which is called the column combiner. So we can combine the columns using a column combiner to create a single string. So let's see what we're talking about. We connect the output of the auto binner to the column combiner. We will remove all the variables to the exclude side and choose only the variables we want to combine, which is recency, frequency and monetary. We'll combine them together to form a single string. And instead of a delimiter as comma, we can replace the delimiter with a space. Name of the appended column can be the RFM column. And we click on OK, go to the node and execute it. So we find that we've now created a new column, which is the RFM column, which has values for each of the bins corresponding to that customer. So for a bike store, the customer has a frequency which is high. So for recency, we'll consider bin 2 as high and bin 1 as medium. So it has a high recency. It has got a medium frequency and it has got a medium gross sales or monetary tag for the segmentation schema. The last step of this would be to group by again on the basis of this combined string that we've created so that we get a final segmentation schema. So we'll group by on the basis of this new variable which is called the RFM string, and we will take a count of the number of customers which appear in each of these segments. We go and execute this node and we'll find that we've got this new column which is called RFM and the count corresponding to each of these columns. Thus, if we sort by descending order, we find that high recency, medium frequency, and medium monetary has the highest number of customers. Now, the best segment to be in is perhaps the segment bin 3, and bin 2. So how do we actually interpret this? We will see it in the next session where we'll replace each of bin 2, bin 1 and bin 3 with high, medium and low so that we can easily interpret the segments and find out what is happening. Now, just before we created the final group by node here, what we can now see is when we are going to do any targeting or promotional activity, for every customer, we will find a segmentation schema attached to each of the customers. So if there is a high value item which needs to be promoted, I will actually promote that to action by cycle specialists because they are high on each of these different dimensions, in each of these different variables, recency, frequency, and monetary. While if there is a promotion which needs to be made, which is not for a very high value item, I'll perhaps promote it to this particular segment. Also, the best offers I will keep for my most loyal segment, which of course is in comparison of these 10 different rows or 11 different rows and segments that we are looking over here manually, happens to be the advanced bike components customer, which is a highly valuable customer because it belongs to the highest bucket, bin 3, or high in monetary, belongs to the highest bucket, bin 3, in frequency, and also belongs to the highest bucket in recency, which happens to be bin 2, because recency just has 2 bins.